Welcome back to the channel. It has been a very quick upload schedule, but I've been feeling very consistent. I feel like uploading this channel, especially with the year-end list, is very fun to do. So welcome back. If you did not catch my previous video, go check it out. It was my top 5 worst hip-hop albums of the year. When you really think about it, there was a ton of dishonorable mentions, so it was more like a top 15. And to go back to when I made that video, I thought it was going to be a very fun experience, but it turned out not to be because, of course, I'm talking about really bad music. And now that I finally got that out of the way, I can finally discuss music that I love, music that I enjoy, and my top 10 hip-hop songs of the year. I am going to preface, like I did in the previous video, that this is strictly my opinion. We can totally have a normal discourse. We can have a good discussion in the comments or wherever you want to put it. It's just strictly my opinion. So just don't take it all that seriously. If there's a song that is not on here that you thought, why is it not on here? Unfortunately, I cannot listen to all the music in the world, and I have missed out on some pretty notable albums and notable songs, but I have collected my small little kind of treasure chest of some really great hip-hop that spans both very mainstream to very underground. And I want to also preface now, the lights in the background, they may start flickering. I'm in the middle of a windstorm, so if the power goes out, this video, of course, is going to have to be cut short. But we're going to try to go as smoothly as possible. So we're going to start off with our honorable mentions. There's a decent bit. I'm not going to spend a terrible time on them. So, Youngster Jack with Horizon. One of my top listened songs of the year. While it was one of my most listened, it's something that I'm not going to go back to as much. Maybe it's because of burnout and I played it so much. But if you're looking for some hyper pop mixed with hyper trap with a more ethereal and transcendent sound, you will really like this song. I have Scatterbrain by Conway the Machine with JID and Ludacris. I didn't come to La Machina until very later on in this year, but goodness, that's an incredible album. And this song, usually Conway has this way of finding a mainstream sound amongst the Griselda crew and making it just incredibly potent and incredibly just a really good hype track. JID kills it. Ludacris kills it. Really good song. Number 3, Miss the Rage, Trippie Redd and Playboi Carti. We have heard this song a decent bit, and it is still good to this day. The instrumental is godly, and I think Trippie Redd does a really good performance. And Playboi Carti, while I didn't enjoy the performance beforehand or when I first listened, it's grown on me through multiple listens. Mazza, Slow Tie, A$AP Rocky, really woozy type of instrumental, and Slow Tie brings a very chaotic kind of energy that he always does, and A$AP Rocky, I almost said A$AP Rock, A$AP Rocky brings a really nice smooth kind of flow and transition, and it's a really nice collection of a song, and the music video really coincides with the sound that it's going for. Adult Swim, D2X featuring Ro Margelis, I believe it is. So this comes off one of the albums I talked about on my New to You series, which I am going to be returning to. I've just been trying to dig for some more albums that I find incredibly interesting to talk about. But in this mix of an album that is full of come-up vibes, full of these really nice storytelling tracks and a very nice jazz rap type of sound, this song allows for a more hip house and a more energetic spot on the album. And it really stuck out to me as something that's really fun to listen to and something I could take from the album and listen to on my own time and not really worry about the cohesiveness of the album or whatever, stuff like that. Double Hockey Sticks, Boldy James, The Alchemist. Great start to Bo Jackson. It's going to be on my list somewhere. It's probably not going to be in my top 10, but it's going to be in my honorable mentions. A really good start to that project, the nice beat switch in the middle, and Boldy James with his cold-hearted delivery mixed with this very stone-faced or cold kind of production. Perfect combination. Cross My Heart by Big Baby Gucci. Not a lot of people don't know about Big Baby Gucci. That's kind of a tongue twister. But he released quite a few albums this year, and one of them was Human. And one of my favorite songs on it was Cross My Heart. And if you are trying to find the hyper trap sound, if you're trying to find a new artist, and I think Big Baby Gucci does the hyper trap sound a lot better than what we saw at Trippin' Night and some other artists have taken on. So if you're looking for a well-executed type of album or a song in particular, look at Cross My Heart, take a look at that, and I think you will be impressed, and it's a very good song. 5 Times by Don Toliver from A Life of a Don. Probably one of my favorite songs on the album. It's very nice and just lackadaisical. It's very smooth. And the whole album's a smooth listen, but I think 5 times really like puts it in like this nice atmosphere of you just laying back in like a recliner or just chilling in your car, just driving slow on the freeway with really late at night. It really captures this nice calming sound. Two Sauce by Sleepy Hollow. Two Sauce is a really nice trap banger from Sleepy Hollow's Still Sleep. I was a Sleepy Hollow stan for a decent bit, and this song still bangs. It goes hard. It is not as crazy as you would think a drill song should be, or the whole album itself is kind of more minimalist, but it's still a really good song. Go check it out. Vince Staples' The Shining. The whole album itself carries this kind of nostalgic kind of, if you were thinking back in the 70s and 80s, or maybe even the 60s where I was not born, but it has kind of like this VHS quality throughout the whole album, and this song captures that as well. We do get a lot more personal content from Vince Staples throughout this entire album, which really helps alongside of this production that sounds really kind of transcendent. It feels more upbeat, which is a nice contrast and a weird contrast, but it works with more of the paranoid lyricism that Vince brings on this album and this track. Windows, Brockhampton featuring So Gone So Flexy, my favorite song on the album. Just some good flows, just a really good posse cut. A really good posse cut that you would find, I think you would find on the Saturation trilogies. It would fit perfectly well on those, and I just think it's a well-executed track. And the last honorable mention is I Love You, I Hate You from Little Sims. Just the sample through that and just the story that is told through that track is really impressive. The whole album is incredible, and of course it's going to be on my list, so make sure to look out for that. So, got through all the honorable mentions. Let's get to the actual top 10. And my first track is Vogue Cover with Westside Gunn featuring Stove God Cooks. If you have not listened to Side A, I know a lot of people kind of listen to Side A for a couple times or so, but it really didn't hit for a lot of people. It has come around to being one of my favorites of this year, and Vogue Cover is my favorite track. The instrumental is, the sample on it is just fantastic. Westside Gunn fits perfectly on this instrumental. Left wrist, right wrist dancing. It's just a nice sound, and it's a perfect Griselda type of sound, and Westside Gunn knows where he fits well, and he's an amazing beat finder and an amazing curator, so he knows exactly what he sounds good on. But my favorite part is Stove God Cooks, and basically with the lyrical scheme of his verse, he's actually on the side A quite a bit. But my favorite part of the song is Stove God basically talking about he's just waiting for the plug basically to get his drugs, and the guy is just basically screwing around doing his household activities, and he's just waiting to basically get his plug, to get his bag of drugs. And in the end of it, he's just like, you know what, I'm going to sit here and wait because I'm going to get so much weight the door panels won't screw on straight. Such a good line delivery, such an interesting way of putting basically getting drugs together. And that whole part made this track really incredible for me, made me go back for multiple listens. Number 9, Bath Salts, Grammy nominated, by DMX featuring Jay-Z and Nas. The whole Exodus album, I think, is underrated, and Bath Salts is just an incredible, grimy track. Everyone brings their A game, especially Nas, especially Jay-Z. They have this nice chemistry that we haven't seen really, because I believe they just got squashed their beef and they're finally just starting to work together. But I am going to put a spotlight on DMX himself because I think he has the best part of the song. And mixed with this grimy kind of production, DMX being at the time, I believe he was about 50 years old, he sounds aggressive, he sounds hungry, he sounds ferocious. And there's so many quotable lines from this song, just basically saying, he's like, holding up the wall, you got too many holes for you to fall, you're just wasting my time. Basically saying, he's like, I've shot you so many times, why aren't you just gonna die yet? And just that delivery and talking about basically, he's like, I've shot you so many times, just please die. Like, I don't want to waste my time. And my favorite thing, like, on the last part is, imagine if we all let go, turn your whole block into death row, and it's just, oh, that's such a nice bar. DMX's verse on that song is incredibly underrated. No one talks about it, but I think it's my favorite part of the song, and just DMX on that song alone puts it on this list. Number 8, African Pottery by Chester Watson, another artist I talked about in my New to You series. A small minute 30-second track, but Chester Watson has a really good way of wordplay, and while he doesn't have the greatest amount of cadence and the amount of vocal delivery and vocal inflections, I believe he capitalizes on his lyrical content, especially in a minute 30-second song. Something about Def Grips and the Humvee. My favorite line is, Florida raised where the swamp be, I'ma raise hell if an N-word trying to swamp me. That's so fire. That's one of my favorite lyrics of this year, and it catches me every single time. There's no G in astrology, and there's so many great bars. Go listen to all this. I'm going to be making a Spotify playlist for all of these as well, so make sure to go listen to all of these songs I'm describing. Number 7, Amari by J. Cole. Not My Life, not all the other songs that I could name, like The Climb Back and Close and Punching the Clock. There's so many great songs on the off season, but my favorite one is Amari because it does an incredible combination of melodic J. Cole, but also rapping J. Cole. J. Cole is improving as a singer, debatable when you think of the Jackie, but on this particular case, J. Cole kills it with the melodic kind of angle that he was going for. And he still brings in these nice lyrical pieces. Do a song, Walk Out the Booth, do the Westbrook Like a Baby. I love that bar. It gets me so hype every time. And there's so many of nice little like personal pieces, and there's so many nice little hype pieces put into between. And the off season is just a great hype album and a great just back to roots basic kind of rap album, and Amari encapsulates that, but also putting more of a modern twist that J. Cole hasn't done in a decent bit. I know he kind of tackled on it with KOD, but I think it's capitalized so much better on this, where J. Cole is stepping into what modern trap and what modern rap sounds like, but he's making it his own, and he's making it sound incredibly unique and incredibly good. So, Amari by J. Cole. Number 6, Vic Mensa, Freedom featuring Zakari. This originally was Scatterbrain's spot, but I have been listening to a ton of Vic Mensa lately. I think Vic Mensa is becoming one of my favorite rappers, and he has an incredibly interesting discography, but Freedom is one of the biggest bangers of the year that no one's probably going to hear, but I need you to. It has this nice little vocal passage from Zakari before we get into this incredibly banging production that you would not expect. And Vic Mensa is just going nuts. And the music video, if you ever want to see the music video, is just, it keeps that energy up. It's just a really good hype track. This is Nonviolence, this is Prison Break, all this kind of stuff. This ain't no Kumbaya, this is Stupid Hard. And there's so many nice little bits and pieces that just get you so excited. And I need you to go listen to it because the song Freedom and the iTape itself is incredibly underrated, and it's going to be on my list. So make sure to go listen to that. Go listen to Vic Mensa. Even though he's had a checkered past when it comes to different kind of controversies, I think he's on the come up again, and I think he's bringing some really incredible content. Number 5, Bodies in Freezer, Luca, featuring Saint Courts and Beneficial. Another artist from my New to You series, and Bodies in Freezer is just a grimy banger. Two of the features on this song don't even have Spotify accounts, so you can't even go back and listen to if they have any other material, but goodness, this is a banger. The feature verse, I believe it's probably Beneficial, because I feel like St. Courts is probably on the singing part. His delivery is so, like a barking dog. It's so aggressive. It's so in your face, and he is just going non-stop and just has this crazy energy. And then Luca is crazy. Luca is coming up, and he has this flow that where I don't think he even breathes. He just goes so far into this incredible pocket that he has. And the whole track and the chorus, not to mention, the chorus is just, it's catchy, it's disgustingly hard, and I just love every part of it. Number 5, Bodies in Freezer. Number 4, Hot Wind Blows, Tyler the Creator and Lil Wayne. My favorite song on Call Me You Get Lost. And Tyler the Creator brings his A game, as he did on the entire album. But goodness sakes, Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne brings my favorite bar of this entire year. I quote it whenever I can because I absolutely love this bar. And I'm trying to remember to make sure I can say it all the way through. It's Wind underneath my wings, desert eagle underneath my coat. Just, that's so good. Middle of the sandwich, like slaughter meat, just, ugh. Lil Wayne just killed it. I should have put Bash Money into the honorable mentions, but I also want to do one song per artist, so I want to make sure everyone has their chance to shine. But goodness sakes, Lil Wayne absolutely destroyed this year when it comes to features, besides Trust Fund Babies. But you can watch that other video to hear about that. But Hot Wind Blows, incredible performance from both artists. Go check it out. Number 3 is Hazard Duty Pay by JPEG Mafia. If you have not listened to JPEG Mafia, LP was just released, and it's probably his most accessible album, so I'll give a little plug to LP. But Hazard Duty Pay, unfortunately, did not make the online version. It's the offline version, but that is so sad, because this song and the sample and the delivery that JPEG Mafia brings is definitely his best work. It's his best song, period, in my opinion. It's his most accessible song to me. And JPEG Mafia has this really cool way of making himself sound incredibly experimental, incredibly himself, but of finding a way to make it accessible. And Hazard Duty Pay is a perfect example of that. The sample going on in the background perfectly coincides with JPEG's more sporadic and more erratic delivery. It's just an all-around great track. One of my favorite tracks this year. I've been going back to it a ton recently. Thankfully, someone put it on Spotify so I can listen to it whenever I want. It's incredible. And now we're into number 2, which this song had to come up at some point. I actually debated on what song was going to go on here from Donda, but it has to be Off the Grid. Kanye West, Playboi Carti, 5EO Foreign. If you have not heard this, you must. It is 5EO's basically jump starter pack. He has put a battery on his back, and he's been going ever since. And this verse just is incredible from 5EO Foreign. And I know there's Kanye West and also Playboi Carti on the track, but goodness, it's 5EO Foreign's track. And I remember hearing him on, I believe it's King's Disease 1, and he's had a couple other features. And while he wasn't the worst, I believe that he wasn't bringing a lot to the table to make it interesting. But now 5EO has got something. Maybe it was the thing from Divinity or whatever, but he just got incredibly inspired for this instrumental that just becomes this incredible holy gospel drill beat that is just, it is nuts. This song is going to be living on for the whole decade, and 5EO Foreign is forever going to be known for being on the grid. It's going to be like when DaBaby made Out of the Sun. People are going to go back to say, it's just like, remember when 5EO did Off the Grid, and it was incredible. And I'll go to the other artists now. Playboi Carti gives a nice transition into 5EO Foreign, but he does really well on this. And I think if we did have Narcissist, unfortunately, I don't think it's a thing. But I think Playboi Carti is starting to figure out what he sounds really good on, especially when it comes to Kanye's production. And I think if he capitalizes on this really grandiose and crazy production, and also if he keeps close ties with Ye, I think there is a classic, there is an incredible Playboi Carti album that we can experience. And Kanye on the end brings the energy and keeps the energy going, brings a lot of his standard Kanye quotables that, while they are not like lyrical masterpieces, they are Kanye bars, and they are funny, and they are memorable. So, Off the Grid, number 2 on my list. It could not be on my list. It was either this or Come to Life, but Come to Life I would not consider a hip-hop track. And now we are finally to number 1. And number 1 may seem like a typical kind of choice, may seem that it was very easy to choose, and that's because it was. And that's Family Ties by Baby Keem and Kendrick Lamar. When you look at the nominations for the Grammys, and it's the best rap performance, and Family Ties is on there, that actually makes perfect sense, because the performance that Baby Keem and Kendrick Lamar have on this track is sporadic, it is nuts, it is so infectiously, it's just infectious. It really gets you into this mood every single time, especially the first instrumental that brings these kind of big band horns and these weird kind of flutes mixed in between. It brings the intensity. It starts to bubble up. And then Baby Keem comes in explosive, and he has these flow switches, and he's incredibly animated as he always is, and then transition to the second beat, and he continues on the flow from the first part, and then we go into Kendrick Lamar's part, which basically he only had one verse this entire year, but he took over the entire year with just this one verse, Smoking on Your Top 5 Tonight, eh? And you can see I'm getting excited, I'm talking incredibly fast, but this song is just incredible. And then my favorite part of this song is Kendrick Lamar going into this really deep tone, and it just sounds incredibly hard. It's like, my mental is amazing, brother. Pop off only on occasions, brother. Like, when you hear Kendrick Lamar go into this really deep tone that he's never done before, and he's been always crazy with this kind of lyrical delivery and his flow delivery and his inflections, but he usually goes pretty high. But when he went low for the first time, I was like, whoa, wait a minute. And I had to reverse it. I had to rewind it so many times. And I remember when the snippet came out, it was like only 20 seconds long. And I heard that small little part where he just goes, amazing brother. And I played it over and over and over and over again. And when they come together on the last part, it's just a nice little conclusion to the song. And the whole track is just pure energy. And it keeps that intensity up the entire time. And every single time I listen to it, it has not lost its amazing qualities. It has not lost the hype factor that it has for me. And that's why it's number one. I couldn't see anything else being number one. Off the Grid was pretty close. I'm not going to lie. I've listened to Off the Grid a ton. But Family Ties just is the perfect example of a perfect rap song that brings good, like, amazing lyrical content, incredible production, the beat switches, and incredible performances from Baby Keem and Kendrick Lamar. So I made it through the entire list, and this is longer than my previous video, so I guess it's a good thing that I have a lot more to talk about of the good things than the bad. So let me know your favorite songs of 2021 and down the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all your support. And I'm going to be coming with my top 10 hip-hop albums of 2021. That has been finalized, but I'm going to wait till next week because I don't want to throw all of these into a span of a few days. I want to be able to collect myself and to be able to do decent descriptions of each and every album I put onto the list. And I also want to talk about my most anticipated albums of 2022, or who I would like to drop in 2022. So thank you all for watching. God bless. Have a good night. The power didn't go out, so that's great. And I'll catch you later. Peace.